have to start off by saying congratulations, because Uncharted has been #1 at the box office for 2 weeks in a row now.
Yeah.
It's getting moviegoers back to the theaters, which I'm a huge fan of.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of anything where you're having interaction and experience with other people. I mean, where else can you, between the movies and concerts and restaurants and church and all these things, you have to be able to connect with people. Human interactions. Without it, it's very, very depressing.
And Father Stu, who we're here to talk about today, is exclusively being released in theaters.
Yes.
A little bit of a different film from Uncharted.
A little bit, yes.
But why is it still important for films like Father Stu to be shown in a theater?
I think, I hadn't been to a theater for 2 years, and I'd always gone to the theater. My wife and I would go on our date nights, and then my kids would usually go, once or twice a week. So not having that anymore was really, it was really difficult, not being able to experience that. And when we finally were kind of getting through the pandemic, because we're still not completely through it, but we were allowed to have a recruited audience of 200 people in a theater to show the movie for the first time. Nobody had seen the film other than people who were working on it, and to see the reaction of the film. And then we were going to find a distributor or a streamer. We were initially open to kind of whatever, and I said, this is the only way the movie can be seen. It has to be seen with an audience, the reaction, the laughs, the tears, and ultimately the way people felt when they left the theater. I don't know if people would get the same experience sitting at home, watching it on the couch by themselves, maybe pausing it, going back, taking a phone call, looking at their phone. This is something meant to be consumed on the big screen for sure.
I had never heard of this story. I'm Catholic, and
Nor did I. So it was, he was a priest in a small town, but if you asked anybody within 100 miles of Helena, Montana, they all knew who he was.
How did you even hear of his story? Because it is so inspiring.
A priest friend of his was pitching me the story at dinner, and I was like, Father, why do you keep trying to pitch me on a movie? I thought we were going to build a rec center or something for kids, and thankfully he did. Because when I finally took the time to actually pay attention to him and hear the story, I said, we're going to make this movie. Unfortunately, it took 6 years, but I think now it's more important than ever that people see this movie in a theater.
Yeah, and you put up your own money, I've heard. You have a personal stake in this project.
Oh, yes. I always have a personal stake when I put my name on something, but it's very different from putting your name on something and getting a check as opposed to cutting a big check to make a film. But it's the best decision I could have made. It's the only way to do it. And this is not your conventional movie. It's amazing now that we have a major studio releasing it in theaters, and it's getting the kind of national and international attention that it's getting. But, the story is that important, and the movie's that good.
Now, this is a story, obviously, about a man who has a moment in his life where his life changes, and he moves in a different direction and becomes a priest. So there are a lot of people who are going to look at this and go, oh, this is a religious movie. There's a priest in it. It's religious. But you've said the screenings that you guys have done with people all over the country, you've seen people who don't have a background in faith and don't have religion, doesn't play a large role in their life, have really gotten a lot out of this film. So I'd love for you to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we made a faith-based movie, we'd be talking to a faith-based audience, and this really is a movie for everybody. But we do hope that it makes them have a little bit more hope and focus a little bit more on their faith, because we're all dealing with real-life issues that we've never had to deal with before. And that's something that's new to everybody. How do we cope with those things living in this day and age? And to see how Stu dealt with adversity and when he was diagnosed, and the way he handled it with grace and dignity is very inspiring to people. And everybody is going through something, and everybody can really identify with it in their own personal way. And I think that's giving them a way to be able to cope with it. And my faith has been such a pivotal component in my entire life, both personally and professionally. But it's the thing that really has helped me deal with loss and failure and disappointment the most. So.